Hush not, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Just move on up toward your destination.
Well, hey there, everybody. A lively introduction to this week's Labor Live at 5. Thanks to our Crackerjack producer, Mark Maldonado, for bringing us in with the tunes and the excitement. Joined by Secretary Treasurer Montserrat Garibay. Hey, Montse.
Hi, Howard. How are you doing? How are y'all doing? Welcome.
We're doing good. Thanks for joining us. And then we have two really special guests tonight that I think really have a lot to say about the world we're living in right now. We have Tyler Turner, who is with OPEIU Local 277 on the executive board of the Texas AFL-CIO and just all around groovy human being. Tyler, welcome. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And we have Stacy Gray, who is the star of the show. Stacy is an employee at BookPeople, and which is the largest independent bookstore, I believe, in the state of Texas, and is a landmark institution here in Austin. And we are excited. Can I give the news, or do you want to give the news, Stacy? What's happened in the last week?
Well, on January 24th, the employees of BookPeople that were part of the bargaining unit unanimously voted yes to ratify our very first collective bargaining agreement.
Wow. So that's deep congratulations. So we have a union bookstore in Texas. The bookstore, for those of you watching, does mail order as well. So please patronize your local union bookstore and give the folks that work there something to do. So you said January 24th is when you all voted. When did this all begin for you? Because I know it was not an easy process. So tell us about that.
It was not. It was not an easy process. It started in July of, was it 2018, Tyler? The time gets lost to me. I believe it was 2018. And it basically started on my porch at a picnic table on my porch with about 6 other employees that I invited to come over and have a discussion and see what we could maybe start to do to really make some real change at BookPeople for the employees there. And we invited a couple members of the local DSA, Democratic Socialists of America group, and they helped us to kind of figure out what our best options were. And of course, unionizing popped up pretty quick among our conversations. Right. And I would say within probably a month, we were all pretty sure, and we actually unanimous, I can't say unanimous tonight, unanimously voted then to join the union. And then that began the process. And, it was definitely long and difficult. I basically have described it this whole time as a marathon that you're on, but every once in a while you have 100-yard sprint or hurdles or something that you have to kick it up a notch and really get through. But yeah, we went through the whole process. We got well over 51% of the employees to sign cards. We turned them into the NLRB, and we notified the store at that time. We had our vote to unionize at the store on in November of 2018. We were very quick with our beginning process. And then since November 2018, we have been slowly but surely building that contract. And so it was difficult, but we did it.
What was the thing that most motivated y'all to come together like that?
Well, it was honestly kind of a combination of a few things. There have been times throughout the years. I've worked there on and off since 1998, and there have been a few times throughout the years where people have started to talk about unionizing or doing something at the store to bring change, and it was always squashed down pretty quickly. And somehow kind of the perfect combination of events happened that summer. One thing was the store morale was lower than it had ever been since I worked there, mainly due to a good friend of ours, a manager who worked there, who had taken his own life. And so store morale was basically about as low as you can imagine it could be. And basically right after that happened, I found out some information about one of our higher ups that lighted a fire. It lit a fire in me. It was basically finding out how much some people were making compared to what we were making on the floor.
Yeah.
And BookPeople was told for years that there just wasn't the money for the employees to get paid better. And that information showed us that it just wasn't true.
That's
and yeah, and then other information just kept kind of falling my way, and it just made it easy to get everyone together. And I think it was a combination of the people that were there at the time and the morale at the store and this information, and it all came together in what everyone that was on the outside, all the DSA people and Tyler from the OPEIU and the other people from OPEIU and the AFL-CIO, what we kept hearing was that we were remarkable in our speed and in our organization for getting so far in such a short time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting that those things are always hidden, right? How much people make. We're not supposed to talk about that. But when the workers come together like that, it's amazing the kind of stuff you learn. Tyler, when they came to you, what did it all look like to you? How as you look back over the time, how does it look like to you?
Well, so the really neat thing about it is they were already a union, right? They had already organized themselves and they knew what they wanted. So it was just the simple fact of, hey, convincing them to go with OPEIU. But on the very first phone call I had with Stacy, and so she called me and she said, now, I just want to warn you, this is a group of very, very smart individuals. And I thought, how in the world did you get my number? I'm the wrong guy. But in any case, they went with us, and, she's not kidding. It was a long haul. And she left out probably the most difficult part is we really had a contract in March of 2019, pretty much ready to go into ratify. And we just were slammed with COVID. And they continued to build solidarity through the course of almost another entire year and got us to the finish line. So it's an incredible thing that they've accomplished.
That's so cool. Yeah. Stacey, so like, what are you most proud of in your agreement? What's the most, what thing is the most different by virtue of you having reached this agreement?
The pay. Pay. Yeah. I mean, really that was our main goal. And there were, of course, some other goals too, and we succeeded at most of them, and would have succeeded in probably every last one of them if it hadn't been for COVID kind of putting a slight wrench in it, but it luckily didn't derail us. It just augmented it slightly. But we, I mean, honestly, just the whole overall attitude of everyone working at the store is just so positive and supportive now. And I've been talking about it lately with a few people that work there, how there's so much positivity and so much love and so much support, and we all feel heard, and that we're actually seeing change. And when we say this needs to happen, people are jumping on it and making it happen. And it's so exciting to see. And a lot of that has to do with our CEO, who came in just over a year ago, Charlie, who has just absolutely been amazing. And we could not ask for better leadership throughout everything that we've been going through this last year. So.
Yeah, that's so great, because I think the thing that's most striking to me about that is a lot of people, when they think of people joining a union and organizing, automatically think it's like a hostile, it's going to be this whole ugly thing. And what I'm struck by is like how this is it makes the business better. It makes it better for you. It makes it better for management. It lifts morale. Having a voice in your job is such a critical thing that I think people never really stop to think about. That, democracy usually stops when you go to work. Then it's like whatever the boss says, that's the deal. So it's so uplifting to hear you talk about just the mood and the feel of what it means to have a voice and to be in solidarity with the people you work with.
Yes, and so much of that comes from just the transparency that we now have. Everything is so much more out in the open. It's more discussed with all of us. And honestly, that's what every work environment should have. You should always have management that is there for their employees' best interest and not just for their pocketbook's best interest.
Yeah, got it. Well, Tyler, I know that we've been getting a lot more calls these days from people who want to be in unions, because I think people are looking around in the pandemic and they're seeing that folks who happen to have a union in their workplace are, don't get me wrong, we're all struggling, but folks who have a union have a lot more at their disposal in order to protect themselves, both physically, financially, et cetera. What are you seeing in that respect? Are you getting a lot of folks who are interested in forming unions at their workplace?
We are, and it's interesting. We got a lot of interest simply from organizing BookPeople. That is probably the most high-profile group that we had organized, and I guess I underestimated how high-profile BookPeople really was. But it has allowed us to get voluntary recognition from some other groups. It's allowed us to have other organizing campaigns that we wouldn't have otherwise taken on, and it's really opened a lot of doors in the nonprofit sector for us.
Yeah. So if somebody is at a workplace and they want to join a union, what do you recommend? I guess both you and Stacy, what do you guys recommend?
I'll let Stacy speak to it. She's the expert on what to do in your workplace.
Well, my first recommendation is honestly to reach out to the DSA because they have so many people that are highly motivated to help workers and to help improve workers' environments, working environments. So the DSA is definitely key. And then second, I would say just doing your research, researching different unions. We loved OPEIU because, well, they had the local in Dallas, and now thanks to us, they're going to have local in Austin as well. And they were just a good size fit for us. They weren't too big, too small. Don't worry about what the union covers. If it's like a steelworkers union, don't think, oh, well, they're not going to cover us coffee shop workers, because they absolutely will. That's the beauty of unions and how it can work. So that would be my best advice is reach out to your local organizations that are there to help people and do your research. And then as far as on your side with the people that you work with, it's really about just starting discussions. Start talking about how much you make. Start making that a normal thing for everyone to talk about how much they make. Start talking to them about how they feel the work environment is. Try to find other allies, people that are willing to help you with the long haul and short time too. And I think that's basically, build your team and find out all the information you can.
Awesome. Tyler, what do you got to add to that?
Yeah, no, I think Stacy's hit that perfectly. Start having conversations with your coworkers. And she mentioned the DSA. I think like-minded organizations and allied progressive groups are absolutely the people you need to reach out to. And, I guarantee you know somebody that goes to a labor council meeting or knows somebody that works at the state fed or is a member of a union, and start having that dialogue with them. And that just really opens the door. Rick and Monse are great about sending us leads. Even if we can't take them, we're always excited to get them. And we hand them off to somebody else who might be capable of organizing them at the time. So, yeah, Stacy hit it perfectly.
That's great. Yeah, folks who are interested, I know the National AFL-CIO has a form you can fill out on their website. If you go to AFL-CIO.org and click on I want to join a union, you can fill out a form and they will get back to us, and we'll help you match you up to whatever union is most likely to be able to serve your needs and your community across Texas. Or you can reach out to us at texasaflcio.org and we can figure out. That's the page on the website. It talks about some of the things Stacy talked about and Tyler talked about. And if you click on that, I'm ready to contact a union organizer, and that's where you can fill it out and fill out the form, and that'll come to me, and we can get you in touch with the people you're interested in. Montserrat, I saw in one of the comments, somebody said that they wish Texas teachers could be in a union. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, actually, my union is Education Austin, and we have Education Austin is a merged local. We're part of Education Austin, is part of the NEA and the AFD. And that is something that anybody can join, either Texas AFD or TSTA, and those are unions. We might be a right to work state, however, we're also are able to organize. And I think that's the beauty of knowing your rights. And like Stacy was saying, right, once you know your rights and once you are able to organize and start from the very basics, one-on-ones, doing one-on-ones with the people that you work with and building those relationships, that's the stepping stone to really organizing a union, right? Because if you don't have those, you don't build relationships with your own coworkers, they're not going to trust you. And because you, Stacy, I remember when you and your team used to come to the Texas AFL-CIO and meet, right? And you had your charts, and I mean, that's the beauty of
and the pizza.
And their pizza, of course. And organizing and getting to know each other and saying, hey, who you're going to talk to, who you're going to ask them to join the union. And I think it's beautiful to see that you have rectified your contract. It's very exciting, but also it's exciting for us to let others know, hey, go buy books at BookPeople. I actually just went and got this wonderful book from Diane Ravitch, and also this one from Angela Davis, who I can't wait to read. But that's what I love about BookPeople. You can order books, and you can also go to the store and get, I always, when I go, I say hi, and I make sure that I wear my Texas AFL-CIO shirt, and I'm like, power to the people, and they're so cool and they're so nice about it. So, I think at the end of the day, people are hungry for justice. People are hungry to be treated with dignity and respect. And what a better way to do it than by organizing and starting your own union. I think that that's very uplifting. And actually, you know what? The PRO Act is coming. If you want to talk a little bit about that, Rick, because I think that that's a really important thing with the new Biden administration coming up. The way that we can really organize in a different ways is very exciting.
Yeah. So just on that, this week, it's actually going to be introduced, the PRO Act, in Congress. Stacy, you talked about how long the process took together. And that's not by accident. There are so many hurdles in our labor laws right now in terms of what rights people have on the job. And the PRO Act will be introduced this week, and we're hoping to get all of the Texas Democratic Congress people to sponsor it. I think we've got all but 2 or 3 right now. It passed the House last time, and what we'll do is streamline the process so when people decide they want to join a union, they can join a union. It will punish employers who illegally retaliate against people who join unions. Mm-hmm. It will give, getting back to about teachers, it will allow public employees to collectively bargain, which is now illegal in many states, including Texas. And it will generally even the playing field between labor and management, which has been way too out of balance for so long. We'll be talking more about this as we move forward, but yeah, this is a perfect example of the way the rules of the road favor management over labor, and we need to get a lot more Stacys and a lot less frustration when it comes to people to having their rights to organize. So I know you guys have a union meeting coming up, so I guess Stacy, leave us with a thought that will inspire us and move us forward. Do you have something you want to leave us with, a parting message or something like that?
Oh man, I just wanted
don't panic.
Anyone out there who is thinking about organizing. Oh no, I want to give a message to anyone out there who is either thinking about organizing or in the process of organizing, and that is to know that it won't last forever. Just take care of yourself and check in on your other team members that are working hard with you, and don't pass judgment if you don't on yourself or anyone else. If you go through a couple of weeks where nothing really gets done, it's bound to happen. But just trust in the process and trust in each other and take care of yourselves, and you will get through it.
Yes, there you go.
That's pretty much all I would say is just, yeah, you will get through it.
We want to all be Stacy, so stick with it. All right, absolutely. Tyler, what about you? What do you have to say to us before you head out?
Not much. I mean, my motto has always kind of been organize or die. You know, we've been blessed by our size, but that may not always be the case. And there's a lot of like-minded individuals. Stacy's group in particular, I couldn't imagine a better, more progressive group to bring into the labor movement and just to welcome into the family. That kind of already upholds and embraces those traditions and values. And we're excited for everywhere this is going to go. So,
well, we are so thrilled about this news. We're really thrilled that you would join us and share it and make us smile in a pretty rough time. Know that the labor movement is there for you, that obviously it's not like you win a contract and everything always stays great forever and everything's perfect. So we all stick together. That's called solidarity, and that's where we're at. So congratulations, Stacy. Congratulations, Tyler. Thank you both for your mighty work. And enjoy your union meeting, and we're going to talk about a few other things, but thank y'all for joining us. Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you, Tyler.
Wow, that was so awesome. I mean, there's like the way she described the workplace and the transformation that comes from being in a union was really, really powerful.
For sure. You know, it really, it makes me think of that quote from Margaret Mead that says, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed individuals can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And that's the power of the union. And to be able to see how they started organizing until now that they are actually have their contract, I think it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, from that high, we have to talk about something else, and that is tonight, Governor Greg Abbott is giving his State of the State address. You know, so it's like the State of the Union on the national level, only it's not actually given to people in the Capitol. He's just going to be doing it on TV. And, you know, I'll tell you, as I think about what I want to hear from Greg Abbott, what I would like to hear is some real solutions to the challenges that we're all facing in this time of COVID. I mean, I want to hear about how people are going to get health insurance. I want to hear how we're going to expand Medicaid in Texas. I want to hear how we're going to make sure that people have a safe place to go to work. Mm-hmm. I want to make sure, I want to hear like, how are you going to say what?
Money for public schools, right? And how our children are going to get broadband internet access right now when COVID is happening. To me, I think that that's something is so important, that people in our communities have access to internet so their children can actually log into their studies. Exactly.
And I want to hear about like, you know, how many years from now am I going to get a vaccine? You know, the whole way that has been bung. I want to hear how he's going to fix that, because that's a matter of life and death. And, you know, I want to hear about how we're going to make it so that work pays in Texas. Are we going to raise the minimum wage finally? What are we doing? What are we going to do? Are we going to protect standards in the construction industry, such as, you know, licensing that protects the public and guarantees levels? I want to hear, are we going to allow cities to really engage in practices that help the people that live in those cities? But you know what, Monse, I'm not a crystal ball gazer. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure that's what we're going to hear from Greg Abbott tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, you know, I think what he has done in terms of COVID have been pretty depressing, and I don't have high hopes. I wish that, you know, he would have working people at the table making these decisions. Unfortunately, that has not been the case, right? He had the COVID task force, and there was not one person from labor. So that it's I'm not expecting big things for him, but one thing is for sure, we're organizing to make sure that our voices are at the table.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of our voices, one of the cool things is that you know how after the governor or the president gives their speech, they usually have somebody from the opposite party that gives the response. Mm-hmm. Well, the Democratic Party tonight is not having just a politician give the response. They've turned the the response over to ordinary working Texans. And we're really excited that there's going to be 3 union members that are going to be part of that response tonight. So we really encourage folks to, I think we have an iron worker, we have a medical field person, and we have a meat packer, all talking about what they would like to see from this state when it comes to meeting COVID. So I'm really excited that voices of working people will be heard tonight, just not in Greg Abbott's speech, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's, again, like if we're not at the table, we're at the menu, right? And we have to make sure that we share our stories, because yes, we talk about heroes and all the frontline workers being heroes, but the reality is that, by their actions from the governor, they're not treated like heroes.
No.
We're treated as disposable pieces of paper that they get to throw away. And that is unacceptable, because these are the lives of our children. These are the lives of the working people that serve our communities in different ways. And we're just about to have it, and we know that he's going to be up for re-election in a few years. And we will remember, every one of us will remember what a horrible job he did for just even the vaccines with COVID-19. He's making sure that teachers are going back to work. However, how many classified employees, custodians, cafeteria workers already have the COVID-19 vaccine? I'll tell you, not many people. More like 0 people are having those vaccines, and they are expected to go back to work. I'm sorry, but that is unacceptable.
Yeah, and it's not limited to those folks at all. It's just it's really not. The fact that it's not like we didn't know this was coming, that we were going to need to vaccinate people, and to be so unprepared like we are is really it's horrible. So we've talked a little bit about what we want to hear from the governor. We have a way for our viewers, and I'll say this about our viewers. I mean, our viewers tonight are on Facebook. Our viewers are on YouTube. Our viewers are on what else, Montserrat?
Twitch. We're like going 21st century skills. Everybody and their mama is going to know what we're standing.
That's what I'm saying. We're on Twitch. I mean, yes. And so anyway, for everybody on these platforms, we have a survey, and we would like to hear what you want to see in our state government, so that we can get the word out to our legislators about what working people care about. So the link is on this chat. And if you take the survey, you get probably the coolest sticker there is. And I've started to see them pop up all over Texas. I saw this one in the fire department. I saw folks at the airlines wearing it. I saw people in offices putting it on their computers. I see people in construction having it on their hard hats. I mean, so what we'd like to do is, even on cars. What do you know? Education Austin. I've heard of that union. Okay. So what we would like folks to do is to take the survey, and then we'll send you the sticker in the mail. And if you would, put the sticker on the coolest place you can think of, and take a picture and post it and tag us, and we'll get the word out. Solidarity stickers all over Texas.
That's right.
As we spread the word about solidarity forever. So,
because that if it's not on social media, it didn't happen. Okay, so we're gonna utilize all these tools, cool tools that we have.
I've heard that.
We're gonna tell the world that the Texas AFL-CIO is all up in business and is organizing left and right, and we're gonna have a seat at the table, because if not, we're gonna be in the menu, and we don't want to be on the menu no more.
We do not. I do not. I don't want to be on the menu.
Me either.
So there you have it. So please take the survey, spread the word. Stay active, and recalling our earlier guests tonight, organize. Y'all, Texas, the number of union members in Texas grew last year. It's growing all over the country. I think we're up, with this president and this Congress, we're going to see some things that are really going to be powerful in terms of growing our movement, which is going to make lives for the better for the people we represent. So there you have it.
And make sure everybody be on the lookout for the PRO Act and how it's going to be developing, because this is our chance, people. This is our chance to pass the PRO Act, to make sure that the working people have a seat at the table, and we cannot be no right to work for less. That's what I'm talking about. No,
that needs to be in the rear view mirror. That's what I'm saying. So you can see the stickers in the cars behind you, you know, when you're looking for what happened to right to work for less. So there you have it. Got it. See where I'm going with that? Okay.
You're like way ahead of me. Okay.
There you go. Okay. Very good. All right. Well, I think that's it for tonight. Thank you all for joining us. Once I thank you, and thanks to Stacy and to Tyler for joining us. Thanks as always to our Crackerjack producer, Mark Maldonado, longtime producer of Labor Live at 5. We will see y'all next week. Don't forget to tune in.